Good evening. Excuse me. Good evening, Mayor and Council. James Toma, I'm a former councilman, former mayor here in West Covina. Her husband. I know that you've heard a lot of complaints from residents here at the podium, as well as messages and emails about the misrepresentations that are going on about this sales tax initiative, the problems with the fact of the elimination of the audit committee. Just today, a friend of ours found out she signed the petition in front of Walmart because she was told that signing the petition would eliminate taxes or reduce taxes, right? The exact opposite of what this whole thing would do. So you've heard all this clamor, you've heard about the problems, and yet nothing, right? Crickets, nothing from the council. In fact, it's been the exact opposite. It was a former meeting where the council told the residents it was none of their business what this council thought about the sales tax measure, which is probably the biggest issue the city is going to deal with this year or next year. You have a appointed city commissioner who wrote the ballot initiative that's being circulated right now. You have another appointed commissioner advocating openly for this initiative. You have a councilwoman's father attacking anyone who questions this sales tax initiative on social media. And yet again, the people who ought to be responsible for the financial well-being of our city are absolutely mum. They weren't mum when the campaign was around, right? Just only a few months ago, we heard a lot about taxes, a lot about spending, a lot about finances, and yet now, crickets, nothing. You are the people who are entrusted with the well-being of our city. Nobody else, in terms of our city finances, in terms of our police and fire, park services, you five were trusted to do this. You cannot expect a resident out there who does not have staff, who does not have legal counsel to do this work for you. They don't have the expertise and they don't have the access to that information. It is your responsibility. Think about that. Why did you run for this office? Why did you run for this office if you're just going to sit there and let other interested parties run the city? It's your responsibility. The residents just want an honest discussion. I appreciate Mayor Johnson for putting this out there. As he said before, we've not always agreed on everything, but on the big things, we do agree on a lot of stuff. And one of the things we agree upon is honesty and disclosure, right? Trying to be as transparent as possible. That's all that this measure asks for. He's not asking for you to vote on this measure, but the residents and your constituents are entitled to know what the status and the state of the city is. That's it. If you are for the measure, clean it up. You know there are problems with the language in the ballot. You've heard it over and over again. Clean it up. You have the power to do that with one meeting. You can do that. If you are opposed to the measure, then say the reasons why. What's your financial plan? You rush through the budget with almost no public discussion about that at all. So we don't know what the future financial plans are. If you are opposed to this sales tax initiative because we don't need the money, and some of you, well, there have been votes before. For example, the mayor pro tem voted for $2 million more for firefighter salaries and overtime. Obviously, he doesn't think we need the taxes, right? Is that still true? So what is the status today? Only you five have that information, and only you five were entrusted with the responsibility to guide the city. Show some leadership. Show some independence. Show that you know what you're doing and where we're headed. Your constituents and the residents will have a lot more respect for you if you do that.